look. It's easy to see what they started to get their dreadlocks. So we see his hair type being at around a 4B, and this is a very popular hair type for dreadlocks, not just because it's popular and not just because a lot of people have them with this hair type, but because this hair type is more suitable. Not saying that other hair types aren't suitable, but this hair type is very easy to lock up. If you compare this hair type to a straight hair pattern, then you'll be able to see that the straight hair takes a little bit longer to lock up versus the 4B hair type. But of course, if you want to know how to lock up your hair with straight hair, make sure to join the Dreadlocks Masterclass, which is in the link down below. And right now you can actually join for $25 instead of $100 because there are Black Friday sales going on all week on greatlocks.com. Now we start to see him go into what looks like two-strand twist and twist outs. And the reason I say two-strand twist because even if you're looking at his dreadlocks now, they have that curly texture to them. And that typically happens when people start out their dreadlocks with the two-strand twist, which is actually a very popular way of people starting out their dreadlocks with the 4B hair type. And you want your dreadlocks to look like his or anybody else who's used the two-strand twist method, then go ahead and just do two-strand twist and do twist outs and your hair will lock up really quick. And one really cool thing I like about locking styles versus locking methods is that locking styles actually has your hair in a style while it's locking up versus doing twisting with gel or doing twist and rip with straight hair. Like I said, if you're doing two-strand twist, then your hair is in a style while it's locking up. Or if you're doing braid locks, say you have your hair in box braids and you're allowing that to lock up, your hair is always in a style while it's locking up, which is really nice. But as we progress with RegTooFunny's dreadlocks, obviously, like I said, you see that they're a little curly, and that is from two-strand twists. And it doesn't appear like he has two-strand twists in right now, but he actually does. And they're very loose two-strand twists. And this has actually became very popular. It's where people will do a loose two-strand twist versus doing them all the way to the scalp. And if you want your dreadlocks to look like his, kind of a freeform style, then you can actually maintain your way to this by doing the two-strand twist, just like how he did it. Not doing it all the way down to the root, but just doing the tips. Now in this photo, it's easier to see two-strand twists. And it's just really interesting to see his whole locking process because all of his new growth, which actually isn't new growth, it's actually just hair that he didn't maintain. He has a lot of it. So it's really interesting seeing people do their dreadlocks this way because they're leaving all that new growth in there intentionally so that it has that look to it. It's very freeform like, which is really cool to see because you see people that have their hair like this and you think they have freeform dreadlocks, or even people that have used the sponge and got their dreadlocks, you think it's freeform, which they actually maintain their way into it. And this is a way that you can actually do it. This is where we start to see his hair actually look locked up. And of course his hair is maturing along the way, and even now his dreadlocks are still maturing. And that's the cool thing about dreadlocks is that they're constantly maturing, they're constantly changing all the time. But I would say if your hair is in the 4 range and you want to lock up your hair, I think two-strand twist is a great way to actually do so. We see this with DDG, which people are saying that he just has his hair twisted up and that he doesn't have dreadlocks, which could be true, but at the same time, if he were to keep his hair the way that it is, it will mature into locks, which looking at his dreadlocks, I believe that they are locks and that they're not just twists. Now, this is where you really see the locking process take place, but we still see all that new growth, and it's really interesting to see this because looking at his hair, you would think that he has freeform dreadlocks, but up close you can see the two-strand twist in there. And a lot of you probably are saying, well, he doesn't even have dreadlocks. And to be honest, these are locks, and it would actually take quite a while to unravel these because you would have to comb these out. Now, of course, you can see the two-strand twist in there, but those single strands are actually locked up. And it just happens over time. Now guys, this is the most recent photo that I have, and you can see that his dreadlocks are a little bit more thick. They're potentially at their full maturity, and of course they will mature over time as they grow out and the new growth matures as well. But it is really cool seeing his hair like this. It would be even really interesting to see him do separation. I know that would take a lot, and it would actually be more damaging than good if he were to do separation. And the reason being is because he doesn't have original sections all the way down to the scalp. So I'm not exactly sure how that would turn out. There'd be a bunch of breakage, and a lot of dreadlocks will most likely fall out if you were to do that. But it is really cool. Very unique style of dreadlocks. They look freeform, but they're not. And